Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from HyVee, it's our dietitian, our new dietitian. I say lovingly, it's Andrea Miller, registered dietitian with HyVee. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you on here. We've transitioned from our last to you, and very excited to get this kicked off. And you're going to bring us some fun segments. We're going to start off with remote segments as we practice distancing, but we're going to be coming out to the store. You've got a lot planned for us, which is very exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
Today we're going to talk about Food Allergy Awareness Week. It's been a big topic and especially in the last, I'd say, 5 years. It seems to really have ramped up. We'll try and navigate through this today, and we'll start with what's the difference between being allergic to food and having an intolerance to it.
Yes, that's a very important question, and I think a lot of people are confused by that. So first, I'll start off by saying being allergic to something is when the body has an overreaction to the protein in a food, and an intolerance is a little less defined, but it's typically related to the digestive system versus having an anaphylactic reaction like a allergy. And typically intolerances are usually related more so to the starch or the sugar in a food rather than the protein.
Yeah, I commonly hear this one with like somebody in garlic, like I can't eat garlic, it makes my stomach go crazy.
Right.
Or that front, but that is definitely a good way to think of it, is it's not that throat closing,
Right.
a snap of a finger, something changes drastically.
Yeah. So allergy can be related more towards respiration or blood circulation, something going wrong there, and intolerances are usually related to the digestive system.
Can people grow out of a food allergy? My fingers are crossed here for this one.
They can. So there's a wide range of severities in terms of an allergy, in terms of symptoms, mild to severe. The symptoms can be very unpredictable, but the other variable is if people have it for several years or they grow out of it, if a child grows out of it, by age 5 or whatever the case might be, there is a possibility for somebody to grow out of an allergy.
So is it good to expose kids then? I think this always comes hand in hand with that. Exposing kids early on to like your peanut butter, your fish, that sort of thing. Is that timing wise, how does that play into?
Yeah, that part is highly researched, and there's no real, there's different thoughts that go back and forth on that, but there's no real distinctive pathway that says do this and your child will not have an allergy. Just because off my personal experience, I ate everything, when I was pregnant, everything while I was nursing, and her son has 3 allergies. So yeah, so it just kind of varies. And I don't know, like I said, it's highly being researched, and there isn't real clear-cut evidence to say do this or don't do this to produce a result.
Yeah, I think similar to it's allergic to shellfish, fish, and anything fish, and I was able to get my daughter fish, and she's had no problem with it. Still learning, but at least some people may be able to grow out. You never know. Suspects that a food allergy suspects it, should he or she just cut the foods out to be safe, or try something else?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the important piece there is if you suspect an allergy, so if you have skin reactions, or especially throat closing or tickling in your throat, or anything that's kind of making you question if a food allergy is there, the individual definitely wants to seek medical advice. So you want to go to a medical doctor that specializes in allergies, and there's a few reasons for that. One, the severity or the safety factor of having a food allergy, you do need to be followed medically so you get the proper medication. But also another aspect is if somebody cuts out a bunch of things just because they suspect an allergy, they may be cutting out more than they need. And especially for a child, they could be losing nutrition that they would have normally had if they weren't just cutting it out, not knowing what they're cutting out or what they should keep.
That would be probably be something I would do. I'm glad
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
sounds like something that a parent would do. Just
Yep.
does. So
Yeah,
great.
and I've seen a lot of individuals in the clinic that they've gone, 10 years cutting out dairy because someone told them they were lactose intolerant when actually they were allergic to something else. And
Wow.
so spent 10 years of eliminating a whole food group when it was really something else that was causing the issue. So it's important to narrow it down. The medical provider can also help you interpret results because results aren't very easy to necessarily understand. And there can be false negatives and false positives. So they can help you navigate all of that as well.
Yeah, that's really good to know. Seeking that
Mm-hmm.
doctor and get some clarification there. Definitely a good
Right.
one. Also partnering up with you, I bet at the store could
Yes.
be an option. And what should people know when they're heading out and doing their shopping when we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
allergies?
Right, right. So, so then we kind of switch gears. So certainly the dietitians, we're not diagnosing any allergies. We highly encourage getting basically the guidance from the medical provider. This is what the person needs to avoid, and then we take it from there. So, so sometimes it's kind of cut and dry, meaning there's 8 top allergies that are protected by a Food and Labeling Act. And what that means is those 8 allergies must be identified on the food label as being present. And there's 3 different ways that manufacturers can announce that one of those top 8 is in the product. So for those top 8, it makes it a little bit easier to navigate. And what we can do is identify those products with individuals, show them what that looks like on the label so they can become more informed. I also have some kind of general tips for each category that might give them an indication if it has something in it or not. For instance, if a package is vegan, that means it's not going to have egg and it's not going to have milk. So that's just one kind of quick little tip to know that they don't even have to look at the rest of the, rest of the ingredients. They just know that for those 2 specific allergens. But once it gets beyond the 8, it gets a little bit more sticky. We can help, but there's other allergies, of course, that aren't under that labeling act. And so we just have to do a little bit more digging. But basically we'll help the individual locate what those words look like on the food label.
Yeah, that's would be very helpful, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really overwhelming, I think, when you're in the store and trying to navigate that. So that's
right.
Quickly here for additional resources, where can we go and find some of this that you shared with us?
Sure. There's a great website. It's FARE or FAIR. It's the Food and Allergy Research and Education website. They have a lot of good information about label reading. They break down the top allergens and kind of give different tips and things like that. So if somebody's just getting started, I highly recommend they kind of do a little planning at home first before going into the grocery store where it can be so overwhelming, and maybe identify all the categories of food that they can have or their child can have and make that list of, okay, these are safe foods, and then kind of break down what they're looking for in the store that they might need help identifying, whether it be breakfast foods or snacks or dinner items.
Wow. Well, I feel like we just scratched the surface here.
Yes.
We'll certainly dive back into this one and many other
Mm-hmm.
topics. Andrea, thank you so very much for taking the time and going through on this, and looking forward to working with you here in the future.
Mm-hmm. Me as well. Thank you.
All right, that's Andrea Miller, registered dietitian with HyVee, serving, from what I can tell, pretty much every HyVee here in the Madison area. So make sure you say hi, and we'll be working with her on future topics here on Talking Fitchburg. We will take a quick break. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.